Our account managers are not only team members, they're basically the right-hand person next to the agency owner. And we get there through a lot of hard work, a lot of relationship building, and we literally become irreplaceable in every agency we work with. And on today's episode of the Happy Clients podcast, we're going to speak with Emma to discover how we get there and why it's so important inside of an agency.
Welcome to the Happy Clients podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to Happy Clients.
So we're becoming irreplaceable. Kind of like I said, the objective of today is that Dot & Company delivers a service that digital marketing agencies can't live without, but it doesn't always happen as organically as we like. Of course, we're going into agencies. It's a new environment. It's different than another agency we're working with. Could be different from even what we've learned in camp school. That's the piece that we really need to sort of adapt to and offer that kind of elevated service. So here we'll discuss how to become the go-to person and the person that is low-key running the agency. And if you haven't guessed it yet, I encourage you to think of it like this. We are the Kelly Rowland. We are what Kelly Rowland is to Beyonce. And Beyonce is our digital marketing agencies who might be like Destiny's Child. So say my name. Cam is the name of the game. Oh my God, rhyme. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. There's times for questions, of course. I'm by no means the expert in this field. I just have a lot of experience. So I always encourage you to ask questions, chime in, raise the hand. So this is kind of where I wanted to start out. I do thank you guys all for completing those type forms. That was super, super helpful. I was excited to see that they all kind of, not looked the same, but you guys did we're all on the same wavelength, which is really awesome to see. I think we are kind of at heart these relationship builders, and although we're marketers turned client account managers, there's this huge relationship piece that takes place working with any agency. I think it helps us as much as it helps the agency owner. We want to think like the person, we want to be like the person, not just to be the key team member, but to also just make our job a little bit easier where we know how to answer the questions in a way that kind of helps the team and helps the agency grow and keep on track. So starting the relationship with a bang, here's some of my go-tos. Definitely keep in mind that this is something that you want to do right out of the bat, right on the coffee chat to deliver that first impression that is really sort of going to win over the agency, which, 9.999 times out of 10 always happens. So number one, keep it personal. I think people are coming to Dot & Company knowing that we sort of achieve a level of marketing knowledge. We know how to manage clients and do a really great job at it. So the next step is definitely to keep it personal, to make sure that you connect with the agency owner and the team. Are they a dog lover? Do they have kids? Pop culture, I'm a reality TV junkie. So if there's anything we can do to build those relationships, we definitely want to. Keep it super personal, become that bestie, and just let them know that you have their best interest and they can trust you. Number two, ask those questions and document the answers. So, I'm a sucker for an FAQ and just kind of documenting what the answers are inside that agency. Of course, we will know the answers, we will know what comes up, but every agency kind of does it a little bit differently. So they come to us because we have a fundamental understanding of marketing. So really ask those questions that kind of show the agency that you're on track, what's happening, and you want to kind of get to a level where you're working inside their agency and making it all kind of streamlined and on the same wavelength. So I always encourage people to ask those questions, especially when you're starting out and building that relationship. Number three is in the details. So Sometimes it's about the small things and the attention to detail. So go for it, make the CAM experience one that they'll fall in love with. Audrey is so wonderful about sending gifts, welcome cards, but if they have wins and if they have sort of shout outs or anything you can do, and we can help you with, we're here for it. So really make that a special experience. Lots of details, remember those details, and kind of really emphasize what's going on. I think on both levels, definitely professional and personal. We recently sent gifts out because school was ending, and we know agency owners are home with their kids. So maybe they need a bottle of bubbly or a good book to kind of get through those days in the summertime. So stuff like that really builds a relationship and makes it really special. So, of course, this is my go-to sort of resource when anybody's starting with an agency and building that relationship. So I want to always encourage all the hands to start documenting right away. So of course, that's SOPs and the processes, but also FAQs, which are kind of an extension of the process, but how they speak, how they interact with clients, how often it is, what's the expectation, how can we improve it? So get your documents started and share everything with your agency owner. And I know somebody in the type form said like it's full transparency, which is awesome because we kind of want to show them what we're working on, how we're kind of working through the day to day. So FAQs are a huge part of that. Any sort of accolades, any shout outs, keeping them documented so they have them as well. This just shows the agency that you're on it, you're being proactive, and you're really organized with kind of everything that's happening inside the agency, and you know where to get it when you have those questions. So here you guys will have access to this presentation, obviously, but I did kind of link an FAQ folder here, which I put in the group, the Slack channel, about maybe even a month ago, and there's not much activity in there, but I would certainly encourage you to drop your FAQs there for future CAMs or any reference so they can kind of go and look at what an FAQ looks like. And for me, sometimes it's just a screenshot, it's really straightforward, but this is how you answer this question. This is an answer directly from the agency owner. Feel free to recycle it and create that dot method balance too. So how do they respond? What do their answers look like? How quickly do they respond? Kind of meeting those expectations and being the first to communicate, all balanced with that really awesome dot method that Emma teaches everybody in CAM school. We want to put our own spin on it, which is something we love to do. So quick question to the group, and whoever wants to share, feel free. What else is a best practice for kicking off that agency owner and CAM relationship?
Me, I'll go. I have to keep my camera off because my connection is very poor, but Brooke, those who I haven't said hey to before. I really like asking my agency owners what their personal workflow looks like and preferences. Like, don't tell me the details, obviously, but the general workflow of when they are most productive in their day, I find is very helpful to know when to go to them with problems. Like, let's say I get a problem or an issue or just something to speak to them about in the middle of the day, but I know that they're not very productive and they're much more morning people, then maybe I'll save it if it's not a rush for the next day when it's in the morning and it works best for their schedule. So that's kind of something I like to touch on at the beginning too.
That's a great point too, Brooke. Sometimes we work with agencies in different time zones, so really tapping into that as well. I recently handed off an agency to the beautiful Jillian, and I know she picks up her kids at a certain time, and if I needed something, I wasn't able to ask her then. So yeah, saving it for the next morning when I know she's online is definitely something that was necessary sometimes and built that relationship. And I knew I could get what I needed when she was ready to give it to me. Okay, great job. Thank you, Brooke. Just trying to balance everything here. So I do have a guest speaker today. You guys might know her. Her name's Emma. But I wanted to speak to imitation, and it's the highest form of flattery. So being like that agency owner and making sure that you fit into their culture, to their, I know it's such like a silly word, but like just the vibe of their agency. And Emma has done a really great job with Carrie from Systems Envy. She's been working with them and Carrie specifically for years, which is awesome. But I'm going to let Emma kind of take it from here, outline that relationship and how she got to this really awesome place of being. I'll say the number two, but she's very much the number one of this agency for sure, because I know Carrie relies a lot on you, Emma. So go for it, Em.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. First off, I want to say I have been very, very lucky and very blessed because I feel like Carrie is just a wonderful human being. She is so sweet and so encouraging. Like literally, when I first joined, we've been working together for almost 3 years now, and she just like welcomed me with open arms, no matter what. Like she was just so amazing. So I will say that's, it's not special in its own way, but that is something that really, really helps when someone does welcome you into the agency and really encourages you to be their right-hand person. So I shared like some messages from Carrie just to show how loving and lovely she is. So on the next slide here, Katie, just to share a little bit like about my learnings and kind of best practices, my biggest tips for building that relationship with agency owners, because of course, Carrie's amazing. And I've also worked with other amazing agency owners as well. So through my learnings, I'd say one of the things is being consistent. And I know all of us want to go above and beyond at all times, but I think there's that level of understanding yourself and your energy and figuring out what works for you. Because of course we're going to go above and beyond at all times, but when you're juggling every single agency you're working with or juggling like different relationships and making sure you're available for everyone, there's also that level of there's only so much you can do. And I never wanted Carrie to feel like she wasn't my number one, my highest priority. So I needed to figure out kind of a rhythm and flow for myself to show up consistently for her. And that just really helped build trust from the get-go because I didn't kind of come in waves. I was just always there. I was always consistent. And then the next one kind of leads into that as well, where being available. So Carrie shared with me kind of throughout the years at her agency, she worked with other kind of VAs or account managers or other people on our team. And she would just have this comment like, yeah, like sometimes they would just disappear. And I never wanted to be that person who wasn't available to help her when she needed. So that doesn't mean answering messages at any hour of the day. It just means being there to help and willing to help and making sure that she feels that I'm available to her. And then trying to go above and beyond and putting myself in their shoes. So trying to figure out ways that I can help them best based on their own personality.
Taking a quick pause on today's episode to talk to you about the beginning of a referral-worthy client experience. I want to introduce you to our complete onboarding package for digital marketing agencies. So this isn't your first rodeo. You know the client experience can make or break a project. Forget the blood, sweat, and tears that you and your team have poured into a project. If the client doesn't feel as important as their project, you won't land those referrals your business is banking on. But who has the time to baby their clients and promise them the results? The good news is onboarding your clients is the beginning of that referral-worthy client experience and your secret to repeat clients. And in the complete onboarding package, we're showing you how to onboard your clients like professional client account managers. That's us. So what is the complete onboarding package? It is everything you need to know about onboarding. As dedicated client account managers for some of the world's most successful digital marketing agencies, we've onboarded more clients than we can count. We've tried and tested and retested our process to get it perfect. And that is now this complete onboarding package. From the sales call to the launch, the complete onboarding package shows you how we onboarded clients into digital marketing agencies step by step, including the exact tools and templates we use with real clients. You'll get a 24 step-by-step guide, 22 in-depth video tutorials, and more than 18 tools and templates, so you can take action right away, swipe, implement right into your agency. So if you are an agency, make sure you head over to clientaccountmanager.com/onboarding to get your hands on the complete onboarding package.
So some best practices on the next slide here. One thing I tried to figure out is how to mimic their style. And I will say, when I started with Carrie, I also started with an agency owner named Anthony, and all of his clients were B2B, corporate, large company clients. All of Carrie's clients are more so coaches and course creators, all women, like literally all women, like everyone who works for their team is all women. We all communicated in Slack. So it was kind of that corporate atmosphere and then a very casual, just smaller team kind of entrepreneurial spirit vibe. So I had to figure out ways to write emails that suited Anthony's agency and then suited Carrie's agency. And Carrie's all about the emojis, the smiley faces, the extra exclamation marks, all caps, like very, very emotional in a way. So I wanted to mimic that for Carrie so that I could kind of be her person and just like mimic exactly what she was doing, and then try to figure out ways that I could improve even more by figuring out what she didn't like in communication. So for her, she just always wants it super bubbly, easy. And then another thing is trying to answer your own questions. So I know first joining an agency, we all have a million questions and one. So Anthony actually told me this, and I told Katie the other day as well. I'll never forget it because it was kind of a confidence builder thing for me, where he was like, all of your questions are great. Do you think when you ask me a question, can you try to answer it in the same go? So say a client says something like, hey, I want 1,000 leads this month. So obviously I'm going to go to Anthony and be like, hey, the client wants 1,000 leads. What do you think? He wanted me to say, here are a couple strategies I'm thinking. Obviously, they need more budget if they want that amount of leads. This is their current cost per lead. This is their current audiences. Like, can we expand audiences in any way by increasing the budgets? Things like that. He just wanted me to try to figure it out by myself. And that helped me build so much confidence because quite often he would be like, yes, exactly. Like, you got it. That's exactly what I would do. And if it wasn't, he would say, yeah, I like your thinking here. Let's expand a little bit more and ask me more questions that I would have to then answer. And it would kind of spark this conversation that we could have that built our relationship and then built my confidence with clients as well. And then thinking of ways to surprise them. So you can always pick up with people like what they're going through. Like Carrie, for example, has had a lot of health issues over the years. She has 3 boys. She's super busy. I just know sometimes that she's not like totally in it with the agency, clients, all the stuff that's happening. I want to be able to surprise and delight her by sending some cookies or just seeing ways that I can kind of help pick up some things within the agency that I wouldn't necessarily normally do for a little bit just to pick up the slack. Or I had a client who got married a few weeks ago, and I was like, hey, do you want to send this client a wedding present? Like little things like that that I just try to always be thinking of. So I have an example on the next slide here. And Carrie was actually going to take some time away from the agency. And to give you a picture, it's basically just Carrie and I who are in the agency. We also work with contractors as well. There's copywriters and a graphic designer, but really it's just her and I. So with her taking a step back for a little bit, I had to figure out how I could help. And I didn't really know how to start that conversation of like, okay, we have these clients, we have this going on. What can I do? So something else is kind of a best practice is just asking for feedback where it's like, this is what I'm currently doing. What can I do better? Like, what can I do to help you more? How can I open that door to be able to receive that feedback and then make an action plan? So this is a message I sent her a while ago where I was just like, I've written out these tasks I typically do as a CAM. I'm wondering if you can review this list and then add notes for any tasks I could be doing better, any new tasks you'd like me to do, and also more admin tasks that you're doing right now. Basically just like, give me more things to do and give me feedback. And she cried in this message. It was so emotional. It was just like, Emma, okay, like, thank you. Like this really like helped her feel like I was there for her. So it's all in the little things and opening that door And I know we all do a good job of this anyways. It's just always good to keep in mind, what can you be doing that makes them feel special and human?
Thank you, Emma. I think what is like a really awesome takeaway from even this share, Emma, is that we really want our client account managers to feel empowered, and just like really proactive, going in there, making sure you do things like this for your agency owner, where you know exactly what's happening inside the agency, you're managing the projects, you're communicating with the clients. This is what you're doing on a daily, like you are that person, attention to detail. You're not the Beyonce, you're Kelly. So things like this are just so helpful in empowering the client account manager to really take that extra step and make the relationship with the agency one that is not only irreplaceable, but like something that Carrie, agency owners, cannot live without. Like she absolutely, and I'm not even speaking out of my left foot, like she absolutely cannot live without Emma. And I think that is such a success and why we've been working with her for years and years and years. I kind of forgot about Anthony too, Em, which was, yeah, like the polar opposite of Carrie. So what a good takeaway too, to kind of see the contrast. So kind of be cool. And they're a 10, but they won't break away from the day to day. So that puts them right down to a 2 for sure. So these are really awesome agency owners, but really getting out of the nitty gritty in the day to day can be a challenge. They do have relationships with clients sometimes. And although they come to us and they're like, yes, take it, please. You know, it is a part of their agency that is just high value. They need their clients to stay. So that relationship, that piece is something that, of course, you can be so smart, super bright, you know the marketing, you know the strategy, but it's almost like that next level that they have to trust and really let you take lead and be that go-to person. So how do you go from CAM to trusted team lead to the number 2 like Emma is? And you say there's not many people in Carrie's team, but there certainly is media buyers and people coming to you with questions, and you going to them with questions as well. So how do you go from CAM to trusted team lead and go-to person? It definitely takes time, but more is more. And here are some tips. So share everything. And I did like seeing that come through the type form. You guys are creating documents and sharing them with your agency. Starting to SOP, share it. Even if it's not done, let them know it's evergreen. You're working on it. You're adding to it every time. FAQs, project management. This is what you see happening inside of project management. Share that with them. Quick Loom video running through what's been happening inside of project management. Just be totally transparent. You will be building trust and showing that you're delivering without anyone asking. Like, you're the expert, you know what you're doing. And that just comes organically when you're sharing it all with the agency owner. Soon enough, they're not even looking at it. They're just knowing that you have it handled and taken care of. So I think another piece too is to remember the details. So it's small and mighty, but remember everything and they'll be super impressed. I think that showed up on the type forms a little bit too. Just that attention to detail. It can be with the clients, it can be inside the agency, it can be with the agency owner, just really paying attention. And I know that that impresses agency owners. They're usually very busy. They have a lot of juggling to do, a lot of balls in the air. So just remember that you're the person that links it all together. You're the glue. So remember those details and they'll certainly be impressed. Timeline buffers and progress reporting. Love this. You know, I always recommend a buffer. So you're over delivering every single time. Be responsive. The DOT method says be first to the message. You're the person dedicated to communication. So be there or be square. So I love seeing that come through with client account managers. You're, like Emma said, kind of always there. And it's always there, but just because we're so good at our job that we're always there and not there at the same time, if that makes any sense. So always being there, responsive, you're not ghosting anyone. And it really does go a long way. Just showing that you're reliable and that the agency owner can break away from that day to day and really leave it to the CAM. So maybe I'll let you guys watch it, kind of go through it, but I'll send you this presentation so you can click on it. But I don't know if anybody's actually ever seen that before, but it's Simon talking about the why kind of versus the what. So it's very much going, speaking about this golden circle and thinking from the inside out. So as client account managers, we're always thinking about the purpose, the cause, the belief of what we're doing versus the what, not the product, not the service. We want to really lead people versus being the leader, hence the initial reference, Kelly versus Beyonce. So when you're watching this video, I certainly encourage you to think of the why and think about, we're not curing cancer here, we're client account managers, but we do sort of lend an inspiration to people, which really kind of translates into the agency. They can trust us. Clients come to us, they understand that we have a certain confidence in what we're doing versus, just a service or a product. So when you guys are kind of watching that video, think about the why, think from the inside out, because it's a really, I guess, a good message or a good sort of angle to think about, where some people definitely live in that, what, here's my product, buy me, buy this. But if you can really lead versus being the leader, I think it really just encourages a confidence that does help with building relationships for agency owners, but then also clients as well. So leaders versus those who lead. So Simon says things like leaders have the power or authority. Those who lead will inspire us. We want to follow those who lead. They're inspiring. So people are coming to us. They want to follow us. They can trust us. So that's why we start with the why. So CAM translation is that people that work with you continue to believe in you and be motivated by you. If you're leading the team, no need for egos. We lead clients and let the agency owners be the leaders. So again, my famous reference there, but we're kind of those facilitators of the leaders. And I think it's just such a really important part to success and making clients feel super comfortable and trust us. And then also agency owners kind of giving us those responsibilities as well. So here's the success cheat sheet. Everybody take notes. Here's what you need to do to make sure your relationship is something that your agency can't live without. So keep that relationship strong. I actually have worked with agencies for over years. Sometimes Emma is the ringleader with going on almost 3 years working with Carrie, but they do kind of change over time. You're getting to know them, and then you start knowing them on a different level where you can celebrate the wins. You can message the small things, the big things, the things that they'll care about. So keep that relationship strong, keep being proactive about really nurturing those relationships. Again, being proactive and paying attention to details, share and document it all, full transparency. Agency owners love that. Flattery is everything. So that MIG piece, that kind of thinking like the agency owner. And then if you're lost, think, what would Emma do? And then I have a link to her presentation there, more why than what, which will make sense after you watch that video. I'll just put it in the channel, actually, now that I say that, so people will have it that haven't been on this call as well. But watch the video about Simon's kind of why, start with why talk. And then if you guys do have any questions, anything that you want to add, share any information, of course, we're here for it. You can send it to me directly, put it in the Slack channel. But I think the kind of message here in this Dot Discovers is that I want you all to be super empowered to find that relationship, find how to nurture that relationship and keep it strong and become that sort of go-to person inside of an agency, which does look different for everyone. But I think fundamentally we are relationship builders sometimes, and we really need to emphasize that when working with agency owners and their clients.
Such a great episode of the Happy Clients podcast. There's so many goodies in there, but lots more to learn. So if you need any more assistance in finding out what we do and how we become irreplaceable inside of the agencies that we work with, head on over to dotandcompany.co and learn more. Thanks for listening.
Cheers to happy clients.